The November 6th election is just around the corner, and today we have an unusual couple. Both of them decided to run for public office. We have Marissa Capelouto and Dean Capelouto. Both of them are running for, one is running for State House and one is running for State Senate. I want to welcome them to the show. So, I want to welcome you to the show. Tell us about yourself, your district, and why are you running?
I'm running because I have to. I'm seeing more debt, more problems, and more budget cut that unreasonable for all the people that where we at, our district, of course the whole Hawaii. I don't think I should pass this opportunity. I think I have to, because people in our district need a voice like my principal, that I have to keep our politician accountable. And the other reason is our education, it needs to be, redone or redo. It needs to be overhauled, all these problems we have from more fees, more taxes, more foreclosures, more bankruptcies. It's pretty amazing. And other projects that nobody seems to know in our EBA development project or communities, that our government are bringing all these projects that nobody in the community knows about. So I am running because I have to. The community needs help, needs somebody to voice out what needs to be done. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. We're running our own business, but that's the way it is. Family comes first, but sometimes you need to help the rest of the community because nobody wants to stand up. You're gonna have to. If you can do it all the way. And that's the reason I'm here for a long haul.
Okay, Dean, and tell us about you, your background a little bit. I know you both run a business together.
Correct.
And you have military experience. Tell us about that.
Let's see. I'm first of all, I'm part Hawaiian, part Italian. Our last name is Italian. I have 22 years of Navy service, served our country, and I was very thankful and honored to do so. And we run a small family business, shipping business, so we've learned the business side of things. And primarily in shipping is our specialty. I went to Radford High School. I grew up in Hawaii, and my dad, my family was military, so we moved around every 3 years, but all of my family is originally from Hawaii. So my dad is a Waianae grad, and my mother also a Waianae graduate, but originally my mom's side is from Kaneohe, and my dad's side's from Waianae, obviously. But why am I running? I don't think it's about me. It's about our community and the representation that we have. And at some point, when you see that your elected officials begin to neglect your community to a certain point, instead of complaining about it, and nobody else wanted to run. So I was like, I'm not about to let my opponent run unopposed, and not for the amount of things that he's done in our district that I think are complete failures.
Now tell me a little bit about your family and your kids and all that.
Oh, okay. We have 2 children. We have a 16-year-old son. He is 11th grade at the Kapolei High School, and we have a 12-year-old daughter. She's 7th grade Kapolei High School. And I still have my mom. My mom's still here. She's 87. She is one of my volunteers, Sine Wave. Both of our kids are supporting, they're both supporting us. The first thing we asked before we ran, we asked those 2. They were the one that made the decision, yes, go ahead, folks, you guys can run. So they know how hard, so we have to stop all of those, volunteer work, all those, I would say, like taking them to the field, taking them to the practice. There's no things like that while we're running, so they understood that. And
what did they say when you told them that you'd like to run? What, were they surprised, or they?
Well, Marissa is already, she's really strong, hearted. So we knew she was going to run. The question was I going to run? And the amount of effort that it takes to put together a campaign and go door to door is, incredible. The amount of effort that you need for a single candidate. And we figured, you said, you know what? Let's go ahead and try to make a sacrifice here and say, what is it going to, what does that say to our community when it takes a husband and wife to actually get up there and say, you know what, we're tired of this as a family. And like I said, we talked to both our kids about it before, and we let them know, hey, this is going to be a tough 6 months. And they were all supportive of it. So we've just done the best we can.
That's a good experience for them too, to learn about civil service and so on. Okay, now tell me about, you have a small business. What are some of the issues involved with running a small business in Hawaii that are especially challenging that maybe you would like to change if you got elected?
You just start because he pays the bills.
All right.
He knows.
I do most of the bean counting and finance side of things, and Marissa handles the sales, and she's more the face.
It's
of
a shipping business, right?
The shipping company.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And
she's more the face of the company, but I'm kind of in the background, more operations and the finance side. The biggest thing about running a business in Hawaii is, at least from our perspective as a family business, is it just seems like there is kind of it's just more challenging. It's more challenging to run a business as a family business. We don't get any preferential treatment to contracts or jobs or anything like that. So most of the jobs we get are based on our reputation of integrity, and so that's really important. The company itself has been in business since 1981, which is 30-something years, and we picked it up the last 6 years. So we're trying to continue that legacy of the company, and it's been a family business ever since. But
some of the issues like taxes and regulations and mandates, do you feel those are overburdensome?
On the trucking side, we do air freight also. But the air freight I'm comfortable with because I'm used to red tape in the service. So regulations aren't that major an issue for me. I'm used to that. So that came natural. The difficult part is from a trucking perspective. That is pretty challenging because the cost for vehicle weight taxes, insurance is crazy. Fuel is another issue. The trucking businesses have a struggle, and it's a very competitive market. And one day you have the job, and the next day you don't, and the difference is might be only $5 per run, but that's how competitive it is. But a lot of it, we're lucky that a lot of our customers understand we are a small family business, and the big thing that we try to project is that its service to our customers is the most important thing. And so we're available. We answer our phones 24 hours a day. We challenge any of the other companies out there if there's any other companies that are out there that will pick their phone up in the middle of the night when somebody needs a container moved or something. We're there. So we have a different attitude when it comes to service to our customers.
So Marissa, what about you? What do you see as the most burdensome issues when you're running a business?
Right now, it's almost everything. Like number one is the steamship, because
the steamship.
That's correct. Like from Madison Horizon Line, they're non-regulated business, so they can just send us a bill. Nobody's not regulating them. There's no PUC on that one. There's no FMC, which is Federal Maritime Institute or the federal government. Nobody checks on them, so they can create their own tariff, and you and me consumers just pay it. So that's number one, because that's really, really big. That's the reason I went ahead last year. I fought to stop the Senate Bill 754, which is additional $52 per ocean container. That was the Hawaii General Excise Tax for shipping, on shipping. So that's, if I can, I hope some more people can do that. If I can do it, a lot of them should be able to do that, to stop something. The gas is number one too, because we're the truckers. We're the one that move the trades and the commerce of the here in the state. And we used to have a truck, our own trucks that we still do. We fill up our gas tank. We only pay about 470 something bucks per gas tank on the diesel. Now it's almost double, and we're not allowed to pass on the surcharge. We have to eat it. So it's just a matter of how far, how much, how long you can stay in business here in Hawaii. It's ridiculous.
Well, we have among the highest taxes in the nation. We have the biggest debt per capita in the nation for government debt for the private sector workers. That's a study that just came out. We have some of the most severe regulations and healthcare mandates and so on. And so, you know, it is a challenging situation to run a business, no doubt. But what would you do as an elected official? What would be the very first thing that you would want to do to change that situation?
The tax?
Just everything in
everything
business, all the
me,
challenges. What would be the biggest first thing you'd tackle?
Obviously, is we need to have we need jobs right now, because I've been telling everybody, our local politicians, our Congress people, you know, I told them we have that big asset where we at right now in our district, which is the Kailua Barbers Point. And I've been talking to a lot of the people within that area, because that port is a gold mine, including the Barbers Point where the old Barbers Point Air Base. That port, all we gotta do is maybe about 20 or 40 feet long extension. We'll be able to accommodate Matson barges, local barges that needs to be, you know, overhauled, repair within that port. And all we gotta do between our congressional delegations, you know, tap into the $6 billion, the harbor maintenance fund from the federal, and maybe we need 150 million for that. So that's one of them. That's, for me, that's a skilled, high-paying jobs that we should have in our district. The second one is what do you call this? The unfunded. For me, the unfunded liabilities
For the state.
for our public, for our
Right.
state public workers. It's just tremendously despicable, immoral amount of debt. And I seen that on the news article the other day.
Well, just to give people background that aren't familiar with it, the state has an obligation to state workers who are retiring to pay their retirement that they've been promised and their health care. But it's gotten to be so out of control that we owe billions of dollars, and yet the fund, we're not putting as much as we need into to keep it down. And so Hawaii consequently has the highest unfunded liability, I think it is percentage-wise, in the country, and that is a concern, because will it be to the point where we can actually pay it in the future? And you know, the more we put it off, the more it's a burden on our children and our children's children to pay this off, when it's actually the people of the past who have spent the money on things that they wanted to spend it on instead of reinvesting in the system. So it is a real crisis that we face, and many institutions have recognized that. But so that would be one of your challenges.
The second one, that's the second
Yeah,
one,
definitely an issue that's very important. So. What about you, Dean? What would you think is real important for you to tackle when you first get if you had the opportunity to first get elected?
A couple different issues. We have a lot of growth issues in our district. The way the EVA development plan is set up, and we testified against that last night. We asked them to defer it until after the election, and we were able to convince the city council to do that as a community, and so that was a small victory in what has been, you know, kind of a long, drawn-out battle. But without having to, I think the issue with growth is, you know, the folks that are in office right now are saying, okay, they've decided that the EVA Plain is going to be the area that we're going to grow in, and the jobs that are produced from that, you know, they're using that as their basis for job growth, you know, and additional revenues. And it's kind of like our community is divided, but the other communities as a whole on Oahu, you know, all of their representatives and city councilmen, you know, when it comes to, you know, we've only got one vote, you know, versus whatever, eight or nine other votes. So whenever anything happens as far as, you know, new construction or some type of project, whatever it might be, we usually end up getting it in our district, and we're kind of tired of it. I mean, there's a group of us that were tired of being you know, pushed and we're pushing back. And
So give me an example of what you're talking about. Are you talking about like the landfill, that kind of thing?
Biolab,
the
yeah.
landfill, the biolab, the whole, Act 55 Public Land Development Corporation. It's all interconnected, and so we're trying as a community to push back.
Now tell me about the landfill. We know that that's a city issue.
That's correct.
But it is in your district. It's been there for many, many years. I think it was Jeremy Harris that promised to close it, and then it was Mufi Hanneman who we thought would close it. But there was a promise made to the people in the district that it would close, and it hasn't closed.
No.
The question is always, where will it go? And nobody wants a landfill in their backyard. Having grown up in Kailua, I can tell you, we had the landfill there for many, many years in the quarry area. So it's a drag, no doubt about it. But it definitely have issues with it. And, do you get additional compensation or additional benefits for having a landfill in your neighborhood? I know that's an issue.
The city has, they do give away some community grants. But for me, is the people that would like to invest in the area, like the people that live inside Ko'olina, they don't like the Waimanalo Gulch over there. You remember about a year ago, there was a spill of all those
a terrible
medical,
rainstorm that brought
correct.
all the trash down.
The flooding and everything got washed out of it. Those people own about like $1 million, $2 million something houses there. See, it kind of backfire on you. You want to grow that as a second city, and you have that big gulch right there that the city really wanted to cuddle, and community doesn't want it. And there's a lot of spaces, not in Oahu though. I don't know where they're gonna put it.
Not only that, but you've got Ko'olina out there, you've got Aulani, and this is what we're showing this as a prime area for tourism, and the first thing that they see is that's the window view that they get is
the landfill.
Is the landfill.
I know, I've been there.
It's not right, but good thing there has been a push to the H-Power, the new H-Power that they brought on. That's a good thing. So anytime we have to, we're able to put less in the landfill is a good thing. And one of our councilmen has pushed forward an additional position, I think, with the city and county, or I think it's the city and county, in renewable, not so much renewable, but in waste management. And something about Germany, there's someplace in Germany that they don't have landfills, so that we have to get smart. We only have so much space, and our space is at a premium, and we definitely don't want to use it as a landfill if we have to. I remember in Virginia, there was a place I think called Mount Trashmore, and they used it, eventually they covered it over, and they buried it over, and it ended up, they turned it into like a park. So the kids would slide down these hills, but we knew that there's trash, it's eventually trash, but it was better than they made it so it wasn't unsightly, But obviously your trash has to go somewhere, and until we can figure out a solution to that.
And of course, that's a city issue, but of course, there's things that go in between with the state. Now, tell me about this bio lab that you're concerned about. What is happening with that, and why are you concerned about it?
It wasn't on our area development plan. It just popped out like mushroom. Same thing with the NBI.
What's the NBI?
The NBI building, the FBI building. I'm sorry.
Oh, the FBI.
FBI building.
Okay.
So they built it. It's there. But the general manager of FBI came to our meeting. He said, we don't have any job openings here. This is like a hub for us. I think that's the reason they closed their Samoa headquarters and then they moved everything down here. So we understand, we give temporary jobs for our, construction, which is really nice. But the thing is, there's no long term. And another thing too, it wasn't add on or put it into our EBA development. And that's one of the most important thing for us community. We need to know who's coming and what is it for. Will it benefit the community, They can bring as much as they can. We need all the jobs, but not that kind of, not well done.
Well,
they never.
The transparency was missing.
Exactly.
The HCDA, which has that responsibility to let the community know what's going on, failed miserably. When we asked at a meeting of the community, the only one meeting that we've had so far, what have they done to let the community know what's going on? The UH officials are like, well, we let HCDA know. And then now the camera switched over to HCDA, and the HCDA says, well, we let the landlords know, of the property managers know. But after that, there was no communication.
This is about the biolab.
The biolab,
This
yeah.
is the biolab.
Mhm.
We walked door to door. Prior to that meeting, we walked door to door to 800 homes, and only one home knew that there was only a biolab in their backyard, and then the guy happened to be a lab tech. And so I was like, he had a whole community,
They don't
the
know.
Hawaiian Homelands community, two of the communities on Barbers Point, the old Kalalua Barbers Point, had no clue what's going on.
And this is a level 3.
And,
This is a level
that,
3.
You know, that lack of transparency is shocking. That lab is going to be right next to a daycare center, and for me, I remember vividly what happened with Oklahoma City, and the lessons learned that we had from that was that FBI building, or wasn't it? It was the Oklahoma City. I think it was an FBI building. Had a daycare center in
Right, the federal building in the Oklahoma
or was
City.
the federal building.
Right.
And they had a daycare center in there, and that was one of the lessons learned was you'll never put a daycare center next to a potential terrorist target. And it's like nobody's listening. We went and they had this presentation. It was pretty much a very heated debate, and actually it was pretty much one way. It was kind of censorship. They had us ask our questions on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And who was at this hearing that you're talking
You know
about?
who was over there was the chancellor, that's Mr. Awakuni.
Is that the one that just
Yeah, he was
resigned?
just getting to retire. Well, he retired, I think. Yeah, I hate to kind of mention that one. I hope it didn't bring him down about running that, because he was the one that running the Kaka'ako too, the John Burns Kaka'ako Medical Building. It got shut down. We went to visit that lab June 9, and they shut it down July 15.
See, that was the big problem. They sent the neighborhood board. Marissa's on the neighborhood board. They invited them to come over and say, "Hey, can you want to take a tour of this and see how safe it is?"
And what are you talking about now?
The biolab.
The
in
biolab, okay.
Kaka'ako,
Yeah.
Kaka'ako lab. And they went and did their tour, came back, and after they did this presentation in our district, all of their PhDs, all of these professionals that were there were saying, "Oh, we can never have a leak, and we're completely safe." And we come to find out that later on, at one of the neighborhood boards, we get a representative outside of our district that comes in and says, "You guys need to stop this because the Kaka'ako lab just got shut down for safety." So federal
leak, yeah.
leakages and
So it would be
issues.
a similar lab that's in your district.
Right.
Okay, I can see why that would be a concern, and you're saying it's next to a daycare center and so on. And just a quick note, in our federal building now, there is a daycare center
That's
in the one that's
scary.
currently existing. So
Yeah, that in
they
town, yeah.
didn't, but I believe it's always been there. So,
Wow.
but anyway, but still, you're saying that the way that the planning is going, it's maybe not the best way, because you do have the opportunity as a new community or relatively new community that's being developed to plan things in a better management.
They have to follow the procedure. You got to have transparency.
Right.
That's one of the reasons we have to run for office, because our politicians, the elected politicians in our district, they're not taking stands, and that's sad. You have to take the ownership of the community. You have to take it. Don't even work if you couldn't, because if we get elected, we have to give up our business. One of us gotta have to do something.
So now you're running for the State House.
Yes, that's correct.
Now,
District 42.
Why did you choose to run for the State House?
Because I had run before, and I know what to do now, and I've been following what my opponent is doing, and her absentees, it's ridiculous.
Her absentees from the
From
legislature?
the legislature, yeah, you were supposed to work like 60 days, amount of days every legislation.
Every
period,
legislative session, yeah.
legislative session. Well, 2010, she had missed 10 days, and she had missed 11 days in 2011. And on top of that, she had missed from 2009 up to, I think, 2011 or 2012. She missed, about 72 votes. And what a record. Somebody has to stand up and tell this person, come on, you're there to work, and we're paying you. And look what all these debts now, all this, outrageous money that this taxpayer, as taxpayer, gonna have to confront. It's $29,000 just to pay the unfunded liabilities for public workers.
$29,000 per person.
Per person,
in
per
Hawaii.
taxpayer.
Right.
Who can afford that?
Right.
People could barely put food on the table.
That's true.
That's despicable. I think it's immoral.
Now, you're talking about attendance and a 60-day record, but just so people understand, the legislature goes through, and I know you know this, but just for people to know, the legislature actually goes from January, middle of January until the beginning, usually either the end of April or the beginning of May, and there's 60 working days in there, but there's still quite a long period, and people get their attendance record not only when they go to committee to vote, but also when they go on the floor. And they have 60 days where they actually go on the floor and vote there on the final reading of bills. So you're saying out of that she missed about 10 of the 60 days. And
10
those days,
in 2010 and then
Yeah.
11 days on 2011. It's on the website. It's on the
and those are,
ehawaii.gov.
yeah, and that's an
website.
important, and you know, basically people I'm sure would agree that it's important to be there because those are the days that
gotta
you make
be
these
there.
important decisions. Dean, we're almost out of time, but tell me briefly, why are you running for Senate?
Why am I running for Senate? Where do I start? Gross mismanagement, gross oversight. The senators are responsible for oversight of the Land Use Commission, a lot of the different appointed officials, and you know, I'm part Hawaiian, and I see a complete failure of our Senate in making sure that environmental rules are followed, and it just seems like everybody is so pro-development that the Hawaiians are being forgotten. There's so many issues, but environmental issues are being, you know, environmental ordinances, city codes and stuff like that. That's one of the main reasons I'm running. The other one is trying to think of where do I even start? Not supporting the veterans out in Kalaloa. We had, you know, we were promised the commissary would be left for at least the retired community, and that promise was broken. Where do I start? The biolab is another one. You know, we didn't find out about the biolab until last minute, and they rushed into an EA, an environmental assessment, and our representatives knew about it 6 months or prior to that, and didn't bring it to the community so we could have a chance to talk about it.
All right, well, we're out of time. I want to wish you luck and tell us your website real quick.
Marissa, Marissa2012.com.
And mine is www.facebook.com//Dean Kalani Capelouto.
All right, well, good luck to you both, and we'll see you on Election Day.
Thank you.
This has been News Behind the News. I'm Aaliyah Zimmerman. Aloha.